Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 56, and today I'm extremely excited because I'm going to be heading off to Insomnia Games Festival. Now this is something that I've been looking forward to for the past couple of days. You guys have heard me talking about this. I'm excited to meet all of you. By the time this video comes out, I will have been and probably will be on my way home. So there we go, that's how the world of YouTube works. But as you can see, this thing is done. We finished it in the previous episode, we did a whole bunch of work on it, we fixed a whole bunch of problems, still a few little problems, for example, some of the layers being out of sync, but for the most part, I'm really happy with it. I think it works perfectly, and now we're going to try our best to work out some form of storage solution. So as you guys know, we have this lovely area right here, which I actually thought I'd fixed up in the previous episode, but clearly I forgot to fill in all of the glass. But we've got this absolutely enormous area right here. And I've been thinking, I mean, this is pretty prime property for the farming district storage system, isn't it? I mean, we could have item sorters going all the way across the top there, and then we could have chests coming down like this. It might not be big enough, we might have to extend it in the future, but I think for the time being, that is probably going to do the trick. So I'm going to have to map out where all of the item drops are actually going to be going, and if it's actually going to fit, we might actually have to break in to some of that walkway there and place the sorting systems inside, which is, that's not really a problem, I don't think. So far I have bones, gunpowder, rotten flesh, string, cactus, melon, pumpkin, sugarcane, wheat, carrot, potato, chicken, egg. There's definitely stuff missing there. I've expanded out my list to 16 items and also removed the few items from the list, like rotten flesh, that I don't really fancy storing large quantities of. So now I'm working on modifying the old school storage system design to actually work diagonally, because the old one isn't quite going to cut it. And this is a lot more difficult than I was expecting it to be. I thought this was going to be simple, but it doesn't appear that that is the case. Okay, I think I've come up with an idea that makes a little bit more sense. Now, I have had to reduce the number of items that are going to be able to be stored in this thing. We're reducing it down to just 12 different types of item. But I think that could work. The only issue that we have is that hopper there. And by that, I mean this hopper here, next to the redstone torch. But that torch powering problem has been solved. The design has got one block longer, and it's also got one piston noisier as well, which isn't perfect, but it should mean that we will have ourselves a fully working system. Now, I have just thought there is a chance that I could make like a 2-wide design right here. But anyway, what I want to do is I actually want to try this thing out. So I'm going to grab myself some sugarcane, and if we drop this into the system, we should see that it will all make its way into... That is going to be loud. It's not a problem. But it is going to be quite noisy. Let's try a slightly different item. For example, let's say we grab ourselves some bones. I just want to make sure that it can actually make its way through the system and into this thing. Yep, all working. It is functioning. It is a working design. I might work on it, but if not, this is the one that we're going to be building. I'm of the opinion that this makes a whole bunch more sense. A little bit smaller, and also a lot less noise. But why stop there? I mean, this redstone contraption has become very elegant very quickly. I just hope it actually works. So the first thing that we're going to have to do in this area is, unfortunately, remove a lot of this walkway up at the top here to make way for all of the sorting systems and all of the redstone that goes on up at the top. So I've tried to make sense of the hopper situation by using netherrack and also kind of wiping out some of the pathway here, and I think that's how it's going to go. So the redstone is actually going to be on this sort of level, pretty much where the pathway is, and then all of this area underneath is chests, including, I think, even those top layers of netherrack. So this is going to be one monstrous storage system right here. It's going to be huge. Now, obviously, to build this storage system, we are going to need decent quantities of wood. So I think I'm going to have to head off around the community builds area and just try my best to take out trees that no one really cares about. So in this tiny little time-lapse chat, I just want to talk to you about the pacing of these Hermitcraft episodes, because as some of you may have noticed over the past maybe 2 or 3 Hermitcraft episodes, and also some of the Redstone videos, I've kind of changed up the style just a tiny bit, just to keep things fresh and keep things moving. I've kind of shortened down some of my clips, because occasionally I felt like when I was watching back my videos, sometimes I'll be watching clips and I'll be like, oh, come on, like, you're waffling on a little bit. And I know this is a little bit ironic, considering I'm saying this in a time-lapse chat, which I'm famous for waffling on in, but there were times when I was watching my Hermitcraft videos and the Redstone videos and thinking, you know what, this is getting a little bit boring. So I'm trying my best to like cut down the length of the clips and make it a little bit fast-paced and make it a little bit more kind of visually interesting, look like things are happening more often. And I have to say, the response to it has been really, really good. I was looking at my analytics earlier on. Generally speaking, with the Hermitcraft episodes, I get around about 50% viewer retention, which means that most people watch about half of the video, which is really good, by the way. But most people watch about half, but in the most recent ones where I've actually tried out this new technique, it's actually edging more towards 60 or 70%. So clearly it's working, and I just wanted to ask your opinion of it, and if you noticed it, and if you've enjoyed the previous few episodes more. Anyway, let's pop back onto the Hermitcraft server, quickly. Fast clip to keep things interesting. So, that was a pretty successful wood farming session. We managed to get 18 stacks in total, which is enough to make 9 stacks of chests, which sounds like a lot of chests, but I actually don't know if it's going to be enough, to be honest with you. Having just thought it through, we have a lot. Like, I mean a lot of chests to go through here. This guy is always getting me. He always spawns just on the portal and then clearly just disappears. And with this, all of the regular chests are now in place. Yeah, this is a good size storage system, and I really like the diagonals. I'm so glad that I decided to stick with that. While I was doing the designing, which was throwing up lots of pain in the backside, essentially, I kind of considered just doing it straight the way across. Very, very glad that I stuck with it. It's going to end up looking great. Apart from, of course, all of the chests that are currently the wrong way round, which, believe you me, I am tempted to leave it that way just to stress you out, but I don't even think I could handle it. Is he going to have enough chests to finish this entire thing? He does! Exactly, perfectly correct. And this is probably one of the most satisfying things to look at I've ever seen in my life. Look at it! It's just a big wall of chests. Now that is cool. That is one cool looking storage system right there. Up we go, last few hoppers right here, and that is the hopper, that is a hopper, and that is a hopper facing in that direction as well. Okay, so that is all hooked up, which means that all of these chests are now fully hooked in and actually ready to start receiving items. So that was pretty easy. I'm very, very glad to see that we actually had enough. Well, we didn't have enough wood. We totally ran out of wood, but I had a whole bunch of hoppers left over in the chests. Probably actually, come to think about it, from dismantling the super smelter. I wasn't planning on using these. I was planning on rebuild. Anyway, now that we've repurposed those hoppers, this thing is now ready to rock and roll. We just have to add in the redstone up at the top that is going to sort out the items. And as you saw from the very start of this video, that redstone should be plain and simple. I mean, it's literally just 2 lines of 3 redstone dust, a redstone torch, and a repeater. I'm very proud of that. I seriously am. Seeing as I took all the hoppers from it, I might as well take some of the redstone too. And there's actually not as many comparisons as I was expecting. Oh. You guys have been asking for updates on the squid farm storage, and this is it. I mean, can you believe that just one minecart going around the outside of my base has allowed me to get that much squid? It's totally ridiculous. So all of the item sorters, that was a really stupid idea. All of the item sorters are now actually in place. So all of the redstone is done. Everything should now be hooked up. So those individual modules are now connected. All I should have to do now is run a hopper line up and over the top of these things. Yeah, so we need to run a hopper line across here, and then I guess I can run it actually out the back and then across like that. And that means that we'll get full coverage of the entire storage system. Yeah, things are coming together, but I've run out of wood again. Oh, that was close. You know, I said it was a bad idea last time. I thought I'd try the fireworks thing again. I'm not a smart man. All of the hoppers are now in, and they're running across into our area, the sugarcane area. So now what I'm going to do is quickly throw in a dropper later. I think that's probably the best way to do it. So we're going to have a dropper facing upwards, and then we'll have all of the glass going up like this, maybe one block further along. So a dropper facing upwards on this block right here, and then that will send the items up through this area and into those hoppers and then into the storage system. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is going to hurt some of you to watch. There are so many items there. Wow, the number of particles. That is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is because obviously these farms are insanely efficient, so it's not really a big deal. But we needed to get rid of those chests, and, well, as I say, the farms are so ridiculous that that's not really a huge number of drops to lose. Well, this thing's already working, so I should probably stop that because we haven't actually got all the items in the sorting system just yet. Okay, let's start sorting things out. We're going to need sugarcane, bones, quite clearly, gunpowder, and rotten flesh is one of the ones that I kind of want to throw out. Believe it or not, guys, I think we might be done. What I'm doing now is I'm just filling in all of these slots right here, which are like the final slots, I guess, that we haven't got farms for. In fact, we haven't got farms for most of the areas in this sorting system, obviously, because we've just started the farming district 4 episodes ago. But that should just about do it. And this one actually doesn't need a comparator and doesn't need that redstone torch because this one is for miscellaneous items. So this is where all the junk items are going to be going, and they're going to end up down at the bottom there. Okay. Right. Let's activate this thing. Let's place in the final repeater. Let's place in the hopper that is missing from this, and then we'll start seeing them flow into the storage system. Oh, I can see some redstone flickering. I can see some redstone flickering. Let's pop down to the bottom. And these are trap chests, but they are flowing in, so we're getting bones into the system. Alright, I think next up we should probably at least clean up this place and maybe do a tiny bit of decorating just to make it look a little bit cooler than it currently does. Now, I must admit, I don't really know what I'm doing in terms of the actual decoration. I'm almost tempted to kind of mimic what I had going on with the nether portals on the other side. So I'll have, I guess, like a walkway going up through the center. Oh, it's difficult because I need to light up the center somehow, but I have no clue how. This is a really tricky thing to build. I think I'm getting there, though. So we've got the dark on the outside. And then I might even chuck in some regular prismarine going up the outside here. Yeah, I'm going to take you along with me on the journey here. Might as well. We know we've been doing a lot of fast-paced jump cuts and things. It would be nice to get a little bit of building in. How's that looking? So we've got this central section here. Yeah, it looks pretty cool, actually. It looks alright. Once we actually get in all of that prismarine there and across the top there, I actually think it'll be quite a cool looking room. You know what? Considering what this place looked like before I actually started the decorating, I'd say I've pretty much nailed it there. I mean, we still have all of the water up at the top. We still kind of have like a vague remnants of the walkway that used to be up there. That was not my fault. That was not my fault. That is not fair that you were trying to take me out. Wow. You walked in front of me. You cannot be angry at me looking at you when you walked in front of my vision. Blimey. Oh, right, well that's my cardio workout done for today. As I was saying, we've kind of still kept the remnants of the walkway. You can clearly see we've got that style going on, but we now have a storage system up there. And I have to say, yeah, now that it's come together, really happy with it. Really, really happy with it. And if we take a look in here, I mean, look at that. That is already ridiculous. Got the string, we got the arrows, you got all the sugarcane, that's coming in nicely. Very, very good. I think that's correct. Yeah. Because those are just random items coming through now. And the good news is, it looks better from above as well. In one episode, we have turned this thing from a mob pit to a full-blown massive storage system. I would consider that a success. Now there is something that I really want to check out in the community builds area, and that is actually the community build. So here's the deal. I don't know if anything's changed since the last time I looked at this, but as you know, I like to periodically check up, and I feel like I saw on Twitter the other day that the community builds area is fully completed and finished and now is ready for shops. So I'll give you the rundown. I'll give you the rundown once we get outside, but one day I'm actually going to learn how to get into this thing. It's something that I still clearly struggle with. Now, on the face of it, I can't really tell if anything has changed since the previous. I mean, it still looks insane. So I think the way that this is going to work, I can see some pretty clear archways here, and I'm guessing each one of these archways is for a shop. So yeah, Wells Knight has got one there. And then I guess, does everyone have their own? Like, is everyone assigned one? I really haven't kept up to date on this project over the past couple weeks. Man, the amount of detail though, I honestly, this sort of thing still blows me away. I can't believe the scale of this place. Okay, so it looks like people have to claim the plots. Right, well, I'm gonna have to work out what sort of shop I actually want to have on the Hermitcraft server, and then I'll have to put one in. But anyway, I think to tie everything up in today's Hermitcraft episode, because I'm heading off to Insomnia tonight, like this evening, I'm going to be leaving in the next couple hours. What I think I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to do a bit of an experiment. I'm going to edit through all of the Redstone videos, I'm going to upload everything, get everything scheduled, edit this whole Hermitcraft episode, and leave this clip to the very end, and then by the time all of that is finished, I want to see just how well the mob farm and also the cactus farm have done, and to do that I should probably actually switch this thing on. That would be intelligent. And we are back. Now that has taken around about 2 hours, and that is mostly because I have actually edited 2 of the 3 videos that I'd forgotten that I'd edited, basically. So I actually had much less to do than I was expecting, which means that hopefully I should be able to get down to Birmingham, or up to Birmingham I should say, at a relatively decent time, as opposed to last time when I arrived, I think I arrived at like 5 in the morning, and then I went to Insomnia at 7. That was not good for my health. That did not feel particularly good. But anyway, we're going to pop down to the bottom here, and I'm excited to see what we've managed to get in that very short space of time. Now, we do have one witch. I should probably also shut off the system, because I don't want to get anything too out of sync again. I know that that's been stressing me out over the past couple days. But hopefully, we have got ourselves a whole bunch of drops. That's kind of what I'm hoping for here. Obviously, I mean, I can hear the clicking. It's definitely doing something. Now, let's see. I'm nervous. I'm seriously nervous. What? Holy mackerel! I'm gonna check how long we were actually AFK for. Just give me 2 seconds here. So it was almost exactly 1 hour. It wasn't even 2 hours, it was 1 hour. To get that much gunpowder. That is pretty brilliant, isn't it? I mean, that solved our bones problem. Let's see what the cactus supplies or the sugarcane supplies are looking like. Pretty insane. I am chuffed to bits with this. I mean, that is totally ridiculous. But anyway, I think that just about does it for today's Hermitcraft episode. I apologise for the slightly rushed ending of this episode, and I think potentially the previous episode as well. That had kind of like a slightly rushed ending to it, simply because obviously I've lost 2 days of recording this week, which means that I have really had to try my best to get as much done in a much shorter space of time, which has meant I've been spending some ridiculous lengths of time straight in the studio. But that is the life of the YouTuber, and I'm not complaining in the slightest, because the life of a YouTuber is a pretty good one. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.